Okay, awesome. So good evening, everyone. Somebody is saying this is too slow. Okay, we've not even started. Don't worry. If it's about speed and intensity, you have you, you have met um I don't know. Some people call me Dr. Ginger, so you better be sure that you're gonna have the best of your time in the few hours or the few minutes we have left. Right? Hopefully, I'll be able to flow properly. So I've been able to follow a few of the things that we've been doing so far at in the group. And then for me, basically, my personal target is how to help people who already have some form of visibility to
Mm.
eventually get monetized. For me, most times I've realized one thing. Most people just plan around visibility. They have all the frameworks, they have all the manipulations. But when they are probably trying to go from visibility to monetization, it's usually what's the word? It's usually the toughest one because a lot of people think that all they need to do is just go from visibility and they just monetize. They just hope somehow that whatever method they use to gain visibility, provided you go viral, there's going to be money. Yes, there's an atom of truth in it, just an atom. That's because there's also, for me, I'm a spiritual person, so I would say that there's also the messy side of it, in the sense that it's possible that you went viral even in your the whole of your empty head, right? Somebody might just see you and say, okay, let's talk. Can we do something together? That's exactly why I'm here, right? Somebody else who goes viral organized an event, and then the person brought me to speak, and then I met Dr. Cynthia there, and then you can see that the rest is history. That's the beauty of visibility. But another thing people don't talk about is what kind of visibility are you building? It's not enough to go viral, it's also enough to make sure that you present yourself to the people that need you in your own regalia. So it's more like, are you recognizable to your target audience? So when they see you all over the place, because that's just the challenge we have now. A lot of people get viral and then their value, their value is so low because they manipulated the system, they studied the algorithm, they came up with all sorts of drama, and then to monetize is now a problem. And then the thing is, it's another thing to be sold money to. I don't know how to explain it. Let's say Dr. Cynthia met me and she wants to give me money. It's different from me deciding, okay, and sitting down and planning. Now that I'm building along this line, what are the things that I'm going to be requiring? Okay, I'm going to be needing this. I'm going to be needing that. I'm going to be needing this.
Yeah.
Okay, when I have to work with somebody, what are my medium of exchange? So I've had a lot of people who, like, for that boot camp, in fact, it's like a miraculous thing. I'm just thinking about it, right? All the speakers that were brought on board, all of them came and were teaching about one thing or the other, and really none of them had a product to say, okay, if you need, aside from joining their boot camp or whatever they wanted to do, but they didn't really have a medium of exchange, in the sense that, okay, if you still want to learn more of this, I can give you this. Now that is why we
Mm.
we plan monetization. Monetization is not supposed to be stumbled upon. It is planned. And every single time you must
Mm.
determine what your entry point is. So, number one, if there's
Mm.
anything I've said today, in all your virality, have an entry point. Entry points can be a
Mhm.
freebie, a freemium, can be a product, can be email
Mhm.
list, but most times it's always easier. The truth is, most of our free products, those people don't read it. That's just the truth. I think for me personally, I believe that the best free products ever are live events. Best free products ever. I don't know how to
Right.
explain it. If you're not paying attention to live events, you're literally leaving lots of money on the table because you are leaving an opportunity for people to still know, like, and trust you, even in a deeper level. Because the truth is, if you give out a book, most people, that's why for me, everybody who buys my or gets my digital product always ends up in a particular group, because this is me also trying to account for them so that I don't lose them. But most people will lose those people because all they think is, let's just get their emails. And I say it again, I don't know how most people, the best thing that can happen to you, that, yes, that's the word that's coming to me, the
Uh,
best thing that can happen
Doc,
to
so
you.
let me, uh, Doc, can you hear me? Okay, I
Yes,
think
crystal
what
clear.
I'll do is for us to improve the connectivity, I'll have to drop. Let me just introduce you. then I have to drop so that you carry on. Is
Okay.
that
No, but
okay?
it's fine.
Oh my God.
Okay. It's okay. No problem. It's still beautiful. In fact, it looks very nice that you're beside me. It doesn't affect anything, except maybe it's from your end. But then for me, it's
Yeah.
perfect. It don't, yes, it doesn't affect anything. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I think because it's on you okay with it's the connectivity from my side, so I will have
Okay.
to preserve that so that I can maximize. So first of all,
Okay.
thank you so much for being for being here, for accepting my invitation. These women that you're going to be talking to are women that are professionals. They are in, some of them are in senior positions, most of them are in senior positions. I don't think there's anybody who's in a junior position. So these are women that know what they want. These are women that want to build a brand that is going to give them a 7-figure, 8-figure brand that is able to retire them, or at least make their work optional. And as women, we have set a timeline. We have set a timeline of 3 years. Now, you might be wondering, why 3 years? Where did this come from? Or you might be saying you are dreaming too much. Where does this come from? So it comes from a concept where I am saying, look, right now the world has literally changed. The world has transitioned. We see young people on TikTok within 1 year, they drop out of college and they are making the money. We see people, first movers on Facebook, on TikTok, on Twitter, it's happening. And then when we look at women, women have unique challenges. We are caregivers. We want the time to see our children grow. We don't have that time. We want to see our grandchildren. There are many women, most of the women that are in this group are actually above 50 years. So they want to retire. They want the time. The first day of the class, I asked them to say, what kind of life do you want in 3 years? And all of them were telling me, I want to build this beautiful house on the beach. I want more time with, to make impact. And it is possible. Now, also, the fact that LinkedIn has 1.3 billion people right now, and only 1% of the people are building, it means that it is the right platform for professionals, for executives, for CEOs that want to build. And so when we met on the other program and I heard you, I said, this is the right person to speak to these women that want to make a change, that want to impact nations, want to impact families. So let me not get much of your time because I want to learn from you as well. So everybody just put your hands together as I welcome my dear friend that I just made. And God is just intentional and she'll be taking us through. So be patient with her. Don't sleep. I know people from Australia, they'll wake up and find us, but don't sleep. Take note of everything and just be sensitive. When I met her, I was very sensitive and God was even able to give me what I was not getting. So Doc, over to you. Thank you so much. I am right here taking notes and I will be here. Over to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you so much for this beautiful introduction as well. And like I said, I'm very, very elated. It would have been very beautiful if I at least probably get to meet everyone who is currently on the live. So just introduce yourself and maybe just drop a one liner of the things that you do so that I will be more tailored to you. Let's say probably even if I just have one person, right? I'm able to talk to the person's monetization plan or the plan of the person being totally financially free completely by um by in 3 years time as your plan is. Of course, I'm sure that's scaling to 7 figures in dollars and all that. Okay, so that's very beautiful. Thank you so much as well. So I think my thought was cut in between, so let me attempt the whole story around, for me, why I know that building online is actually the future. I'm going to say it again. I'm sure most of us would have noticed that when you're walking on the road, right? There are people currently now who walk on their way while glancing through their phone. There are people who are looking at their phone while in the car. There are people who go for dinners and their eyes are still on the phone, right? And many other things that you normally would come around people. And then, of course, with increasing growth in technology, we're having more and more people focusing online. So building online, of course, via LinkedIn, as she said, will be the easiest thing anyone can do. Easiest thing anyone can do. I'll give us a little bit background story. For me, basically, let me see if I can share my slides. That will help also to help us know that. Okay, so for those people who are probably meeting me for the first time, this was me in 2019. I am a medical doctor. So for just in case you think that your niche is unrecognizable or it's not possible for you to start anything at all, like I would always say it's not too late. And then of course LinkedIn is the best place. LinkedIn has Oh, that's beautiful. LinkedIn has the most beautiful buying power on all internets, right? I've been trying to grow on TikTok, even here on YouTube and a few other places. But LinkedIn has the community effect. LinkedIn has the money. And then of course, for most of us who are internationals here, we can see that it's easier to be boundless on LinkedIn. So most people will not care about where you're from. They'll only be concerned about the gift, or that's your gift, or the solutions you're able to provide. Okay. So let me be a little bit tighter. So yes, most times they'll be concerned about what solutions you're able to give. So for me as a medical doctor, 2019, like I told them earlier in that meeting as well, I made my first seven figures even while in fact I just finished medical school. I started my journey as a medical doctor. So I've always known, you can see my business on the right. I've always known that there must be a business side of anything you do. If you want to prosper, if you want to make progress, you must build along three pillars. So I've started holding down the conversations already. So for me, basically, I build as a business, I build as a job, we can call it career, because most times every generation something moves, right? Something moves. But it's very evident that this is a season for the creator economy. So no matter what you do as a person, as a career, as a business, you must ensure that while you build your personal brand, that's the word. No matter what you do, ensure that you build your personal brand. Okay, because in the end, that is the only thing that would transist or move from one generation to the other. That means every other thing can, of course, you can decide not to do that business again. You can decide not to practice again. For me, practicing, like mainstream practice, is not a big thing for me now. I just decided to go into the academics of it. So while I'm in the academics, I'm doing my business, I'm having my communities, I'm still making money as a creator on LinkedIn. So this is me essentially. Like I said, for me, I've always known, I've never believed that I could do just one thing. And thank God I was very right. Of course, I used the internet to make my first seven figures as somebody who barely just came out of school. And it was in a week. It wasn't something that maybe I overplanned. Okay, let's see how we get it done. I didn't even involve anybody. Just simple grit and the knowledge of some of the things I'm going to be sharing right now. And then, of course, there's some knowledge that is specific to a tribe in my particular country where we do a lot of business. So for me, it was like a low hanging fruit. So I'm saying this now because I know that a lot of people are going to be on this live. No, not a year. Not a year. It was in a week, literally. I did a turnover sales in a week. And that was what I got. And it was simply because I just had so much knowledge. Like I said, part of the things you're going to be getting from her program is providing you a community. For me, from time immemorial, I always knew that I couldn't grow alone. I couldn't grow alone. So when I started that business, in fact, the first thing I did was I got 30 people straight. But then we utilized online. It was I got 30 people as my first community. Then I kept increasing it to 100 to 200, and then we had one assignment. For me, like I said, I will say it again. For everybody who is also in business, the whole essence of business is given, right? The whole essence from, and I've always had that mindset, right? Some of you might be so focused about money, but then you lose touch of people. For me, I started out with that because number one, like I told her, I had served in church for most of the longest, so I had learned empathy or learned to serve and not expect anything else. So even when I started the business, I knew that I could do nothing else than succeed simply because what I first of all put people in mind. So even most of the people whom I hired literally in that week, because all of them were people in my circle of influence. Okay, I'm saying it now because most of us, yes, you can't go alone. Most of us are not paying attention to the people around us. Every time you find opportunities, you just have this deception in your mind. Oh, let me go and get results first. Let me just go and do this first. Maybe when I do it, I'm going to now probably start bringing more people on ground. You know, all those drama. And then for me, I've also stayed in another side. I understood clearly that selfishness will not take anybody anywhere. In fact, the reason why most businesses don't thrive, especially in Africa, it has all cultural constructs around selfishness. I mean, the next generation of people that must take over the business has to be my daughter, has to be born of me. And it's not like that. Anything that must overcome the world has to have a lot of faith, believe. And part of faith is you also bringing people into your circle who probably were not originally there, but you saw a pattern, right? You share a vision, you share a heart. For me, that was what I did. That day, it's like we gathered people this week. Next week, we went to the market, we went on sales, and it was crazy. We had to start, we sold off, we had to start telling people, no, this is out, this samples was out, this was out, 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 out. And then it was a miracle. Even me, while it was happening, I didn't even consider it would always happen. Whatever you do, pay attention to community, pay attention to trusting and looking out for the best in your partners, for the best to your customers, and you're already halfway into your execution. So, like I said, this is me here. So that was my first days. So when this had happened to me, I knew outrightly that money can never be my problem. Number one, I said it's as she read from the introduction, basically I've done sales and marketing for more than 20 years. I was born in it. My parents like gave birth to me, and so I saw what flipping money was. And literally I don't think I had it. It's not I don't think I don't have anybody in my family currently that does government work. Okay, so one of my sister who would have been doing that now has eventually left to pursue other opportunities, right? But then it means that everybody literally trades. We just find things and we flip them. We find things and we flip them. And most times when you're building um conglomerates or you're building businesses, it's always very important that you look to long term, and then of course you look to give more than you get. Yes, I know it doesn't make sense, but I kid you not, all the biggest names who are playing it in the industry and all across the world, literally all of them are just finding things to give out. For me, that's one of my biggest wins this year as regards my finances. I've just realized that if I don't find opportunities to spend, just having money, accumulating money, it is literally not doing good to me. Okay, so I'm saying it again. Whatever you do right now, ensure that you're finding things to invest your money in, or making your money do the work, right? So if you need to outsource at any point, outsource quickly. But whatever you do, make sure that money is going into the right direction, because actually, the truth is only money can make money. So it means it's simple. This is the colloquial time, but that's what the Bible calls givers never lack. It means that if something must come to your direction, you have to flip it towards that direction as well. So for me, when I had these 7 figures in a week, my plan was not to outshine or prove that I could make 7 figures in a week. My plan was to get other ladies who were going to be empowered because I decided that, oh, I found a money source. And so all of us, when the monies came in, we still found a way to make sure that we distributed. We just, okay, for every sale you make, this is what you get. And they trusted me because, again, the best thing that can happen to your soul as a person, or as a person who would win eventually in business, is to be the giver, consistently to be, of course, filled with integrity, to keep your words and all the series of things that you need to pay attention to. So maybe in addition to everything I've said so far, maybe I should put the word core value. As a business person, what is your core value? You need to document that, because it will tell you how far you might need to go for people, or how far you shouldn't go to break some of your promises or some of the things you said you were going to do for people. Okay, so that's awesome. We've been able to start out from the first. So, like I said, the whole idea is this, right? If you're doing business to serve people. And if your business must transcend generation, it should be as selfless as possible. Of course, if your child has always been there and is interested in your business and has systems and has done a whole lot of things, has been with you through the thick and thin, any of your family members, of course, that is not you robbing them. You not giving them opportunity to lead will be robbing them. Of course, that's because asking them to lead is not by us, it's simply by merit. So I would say again, maybe my first point to from this slide is this: start with integrity, look out for excellence, embrace partnership, embrace it like your life depends on it. Then find ways to give to your partners, find ways to also give to your customers. Those are the 4 points I was able to curate, right? Yes, and doctor said only money can make money. Sincerely get ready for that. Anytime you want to leap, I've seen it over and over again, whether in your persona as a person or in your brand, what you're representing, you have to make money, make money. So it might require for LinkedIn, your profile, you need to optimize your profile, take a professional headshot. Okay, some people would say AI photos and all that. I would say outrightly, if you already have the money, just go for a professional shoot where literally anybody who sees your photo knows that you walked into your studio and got it, and then you look amazing as well. So that's then your brand as well. Get a professional person to optimize your profile and all that, and then have your systems and funnels. We'll talk about that much more later. So use money to make money. So we've been able to tackle the phase one, right? So I'm going right to my second slide. So yes, I should. This was my packaging, and this was my first ever business. So that's how my mind like works. It's just, if I have to do something, I will just do it to the best of my ability, whatever it takes, because money will eventually make money. So you can imagine other people see my product well packaged like this, they would always be interested in getting more and more. And that one was actually the sales for the day alone. Okay. So for me, I said it again, right? Go hard and systemic, or go home. This was also me. After a while, I moved to a new city. So all the system I had built were on ground systems. That's why we are also pushing back to back on saying please build on the internet as much as is within your power. You have to build on the internet. Whatever business you're doing right now, please, I'm begging you, ensure ensure that you have a technological interface, in the sense that if you are no longer there, if you'd have to move countries, your business systems will still be working. In fact, the strongest thing, what will literally overcome the world, right? You know how the Bible says faith is like the system, that's the spiritual side of it. But for your business, it is your structure. Okay, sorry, give me a moment. Okay, thank you so much for that break. So faith is your spiritual system, right? While for your business to do well, you have to find the structure for your business. Now, one of the things I've noticed is that most people are finding it very hard to transition between physical products, or find the technological expression of physical products, and then like being able to express their business technologically. So I'm going to look back into, yes, it's called technological interface. I'm going to look back to the conversations that some of us left as regards what we are doing now. so that I'll be able to give some examples. Okay, I'm Dr. Bridget, a medical doctor and a professional health coach focusing on women and child health niche plus leadership. I wish you would just tell me a few things. For headlines or when you want to introduce yourself, well, this is a very proper introduction. But when you're speaking to your clients, it's better that you name them. Then if you have a possible result of something that you've done before or what you are currently doing, that would have given me a proper picture. So I wish, if you're still on this live, Dr. Bridget, you can tell me essentially if you've done programs, your coaching program, what is it like? Do you have an offer for it? How many people you've trained and all that? I can probably come up with an example of a technological interface. So I'm saying it again, for most of us, it is very empirical, right? That we have technological interface of everything we do. For me, I didn't think of that until I got married, moved to a new city, and then I got pregnant. So I had two choices. One of it was just relax and say, oh, my husband is a surgeon, by the way, a minimal access surgeon. So it means that they do a whole lot of technology, and sometimes the surgery can be long because it's minimal access. So you have to do a whole lot of computerized movement of those telescopes and all that, endoscopes, many other things. They don't literally cut people through, they just put in the pipes, and he's a urologist, and they move, follow stones where necessary and all that. Okay, so I had a choice between my kids, right, or going headlong into my business or career, basically. So for me, I had always been big on mainstream medicine until I graduated and I began to read the room. Okay. So people like us are people who own healthcare facilities rather than just working. So this is me also suggesting ideas in our minds. So whatever we're building, we should always think of ownership, right? So based on ownership now, pregnancy struck for me. So it meant that, ha ha ha. And I didn't have the regular pregnancy. Most people, they would just move around. For me, yes, I was very active and ginger, as most people call me. But when it came to probably have eaten. I just couldn't eat. You can even see it from my body right here. It wasn't food was not a big deal for me, so I could go on days, not months, days without eating. So I devised. Of course, my husband is a doctor, so what we normally do then would be to set up drip at home. I'll be at home, set up drip. Maybe early hours, wake up for set up drip. I'll take my dextrose saline. Right. By the time it's morning, I dress up and go to work. So officially, I was not interested. I had lots for medical people. I had hyper MSs. Like I don't want to use the word because it might sound gross, right? But I kept throwing up. Yes, that's the better word. Throughout. So it meant that I couldn't eat much. So if I had set up some of the things that I'm doing now, some of the things that you're going to be learning now from doctor, you will probably not even bother yourself. So one of the, while I stayed at home that year, I started asking myself, okay, because my hospital did not care. The lady who was in charge of the hospital at that time had lost three children. Like she had lost three children to the work. So that means she was going to work irrespective of how she felt. And so she had three miscarriages. And I was gladly handed over to her. Thinking that, okay, well, she's a woman, she's a HOD, she should understand. Ha ha ha. So the first thing that happened to me was that, okay, when I went and I told her, oh ma'am, this is exactly what is happening to me now. I'm not scared for work. I've always loved work, right? Um Medicine in fact, throughout medical school, I never felt the bronx of what people say. Medicine, I even used to wonder why people say that. It's just simple, right? You just make up your mind, plan your time, prepare for, read every day. That's what I did. I read every day as a medical student. So I never got to a time during exams where I was in any undue pressure. The only question I always ask myself is, are you going to come out top 10? That makes more sense to me than even be bothering about the rigors. So even medical practice was same for me. So for the first time in my life, I saw somebody literally almost accusing me of not wanting to work in the guise of pregnancy. That was when I knew that sincerely some people are not doing so well in the system, right? And there's nothing wrong. That's why we're hoping that most of us here, when we make those billions and we start owning structures, we'll be able to set up cultures, right? Rather than complain about the system, we should own the system so that we can literally infuse what we want. So there was I. Literally, I think I was 6 months pregnant then, and I told my husband. In fact, one of the things we found out was that the lady was deep into politics. Like she married someone who was deep into politics, and she dared me. It was more like, "Come and see. You can say you cannot leave this place." That's what she told me outrightly. You cannot leave this place. If you leave this place, I'll come up with drama, kaza kaza. You will never work any place. You know all those drama. When I got home that day, I told my husband, me like this. It's not like I don't know other things I could be doing with my life. That somebody will sit down on a particular throne and say, "Oh, if I live here, I'm gonna have it most difficult." I was like, "Aha!" It's like this man doesn't know my story. I reported, I went to my superiors, wrote letters up and down. Everybody, like I said, was in her favor. They said, pregnancy is not a disease. Even if it's hard for you, you must do calls. Mind you, I didn't even say the main contention. The main bone of contention was that I must do calls, and my calls were 48 hours. So this is somebody who I didn't used to eat. Okay, so number one, I didn't have a problem. Okay, yes, I could do call, even if I don't eat. I'm in the hospital, I can always pass the gestro saline or get other medical personnel to pass it on for me. Another thing was that, okay, do I have a restroom here? No restroom. So it meant that with my pregnancy, after doing my first 24 hours, I would find myself either trying to rush home or not have my bath at all. As a pregnant woman, just remain in the hospital. You know how your body can be feeling as somebody who is pregnant. So you have to remain in the hospital for another 24 hours because you're trying to cover. I said, no, no, this is not reasonable to any thinking brain. So, we went back and forth. I told my husband, I'm not doing this. It's not even, she cannot pressure me. I know that the top, whatever, whatever. By then, I think we had a different governor, a different president, and she was literally in the state house where I was working. I was working right in the state house. So it meant that, okay, there are a lot of systemic people all around. Of course, I learned the hard way. So when I went back and forth, nobody was reasoning in my direction. I was like, what's going on here? I just told my husband to chill. Since I had other leadership position, I have never been one to do just one thing. I had church to figure out. Of course, I had my family because I was the only one in that particular city. So it meant that a whole lot of things would be on me. I was like, okay, I told them, I wrote a letter, and that was how my journey to LinkedIn started, right? I think a few more um season after I gave birth to twins, right? And then I started out on LinkedIn. Like for me, I've always known building on the internet is the gold right now. Like I said, everybody's fighting for attention. And most times, if you'd want to 10x, 100x your 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 revenue, you'd want to most time look out for people who can pay you what you're looking for. You don't want to work with local people. So I've seen a whole lot of people who are trapped. Most of the time they just say things like, I don't they say things like my clients are difficult, they don't want to pay me, dramatic things like that. No. It's just that you have not found your clients. When you find your clients, they will pay you anything. When you talk like them, of course, I had already discussed a little bit about personal branding earlier. When you appear like them, when you talk like them, when you all of a sudden pay attention to all the wins you've had so far. So for me, when I showed up on LinkedIn, I didn't show up as a newbie. Right, I showed up as a founder because it's a spirit. I had my wins, but the difference is that I made sure that I collated my wins. Okay, so our next big point will be being able to know when to start documenting, and your documentation should be like yesterday. Your documentation should be literally yesterday. So you will start your documentation of everything you've ever won before. It's not because even if you're starting out something newly and maybe you want to delve into something, you know, you must take cognizance. Is just like your faith work. The reason why you are strengthened this in faith is simple. You have documentations of everything God has done for you before. That's why most times for most believers we talk about the scriptures all the time. Scriptures is a documentation of people who have won in a particular direction. So for you as a professional and as an entrepreneur, it is essential you have your own document, your own scripture of all that you have been able to curate, and remember them and bring them up, right? Bring them all up. So for me, what I did was, I flipped money back to back, right? It's my low hanging fruit. Of course, I'm a medical doctor. If I would like to work with clients, I like to work with clients. If I'm going to build a personal brand, I should be able to work with clients all over the world. And that was what made me, oh, my low hanging fruit is I've always done business. Is these things I, even while practicing medicine, I do business. I still do business. I talk business. I breathe business. In fact, that's what I do. I enter my phases of, like, I don't know how to explain now, seasons of research, bouts of research. I have that over and over again. And when I enter those periods, oh my goodness, I just keep searching, reading all manner, all manner. And I think it's also still part of the things that medicine did for me. So maybe one of the things I will also tell people to do literally is to make sure that they come all out with all the things that they've won at. It's not, when we say show up, we're not saying show up like, mm-mm. When you say show up like it's giving, we're telling you to fake it till you make it. No, we're saying that you actually have won. It's just that you've not paid attention to it. So that opportunity, especially depending on your niche, right, it's always essential that you pick up materials from your niche and use them to create content that Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I think, can everybody hear me now? I had my past source for my Wi-Fi disconnected. My mind was not on it at all.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Now we can hear you, Doc. We
Yeah,
can
it's
hear you now.
from
Okay.
my end. It's actually from my end.
Okay, great.
Okay, awesome. So, okay. Okay, so that's beautiful. Okay, so let me just quickly get my slides back. Okay, so this is where we are. So, like I said, hey God, I hope I don't lose my touch of my conversations. Okay, beautiful. So basically, as I was saying, most times when you're building, it's always very beautiful that you build systemically, no matter what you do, and then always find the tech side of everything you do. Scale technologically as well, because it will help you, of course, build consistency, relevance over time, and then where necessary, automate as many systems as possible. Get ready to research, spend on that as well. For me, that's one thing I've found forte. In fact, I research daily on automations. It's something I enjoy doing, right? So that's what I would say for every literal business owner. If you would have to be there for the business to work, then you literally have to work a little more harder than you are working. Okay, so let me see. I've seen some conversations. Okay, so this is essentially how I started building online. Okay, so everything I've told you all is my business got strengthened through leadership, right? Through ownership. I had done it before. I just owned up to it. And that's what I'm saying for everyone. So I can see some amazing conversations here. Let me look quickly through it so that we can also bring it. Okay, so Maxim said she has coached and placed 5,000 young professionals in employment and currently manages a community of 21,000 youths in tech sector, and she wants to use this experience and and HR as a niche. Excellent. In fact, you are everything I have been talking about right now. So every concept, you embody that concept. Now, there's nobody who will hear this placement of 5,000 professionals and still treat you as a rookie. So even if you are probably now, maybe you did it in passing, your mind was not really there. All you just wanted to do was to help people, but you didn't even know that you were interfacing with a particular skill. This is the time to own it. Exactly what happened to me. This is Phoenix Kids, my platform. I trained professionals 1,000 per week, 1,000 per week for 6 months, and I never flinched. Got them jobs, scaled their businesses. Business was very easy because it's something I had done for myself before. So if I tell you I was going to make 6 figures for you, we'll just keep flipping it. I tell you what to do, go back and forth, we keep working together and all that. And then, like I said again, my heart was to help people, right? Which is what you were already doing, Maxim Dorkin. So you can see that it's easier now because you had mind for people, you had the heart for young people. Now you already have a resume that can stand anywhere, right? For me, that was the spirit of Phoenix Gate, ensuring the helping side of it was I just didn't want anybody to feel stuck, irrespective of their position, because there are lots of wicked people who monetize people's being stuck. Like they want you to stay down so that you keep paying them, or and so many other things about around this. For me, I just don't believe. I believe that everything is at the mercy of a right coach, which you already have, and then the right community and your implementation. So that those are the three main things. So like I was awarded twice by the iconic brand Africa, and then also the whole LinkedIn as a whole, same thing. The award came best community, and then of course social impact. It's still simple. The goal is to literally make people feel loved in whatever product you want to sell. Make people understand that it's about them more than it's about the solution that you want to provide. And then that is the power of a brand anchor. And trust me, once you can make your business find these three routine, it will be so easy for you to do it over and over again. It will be so easy for you to do it for the long term. You will do it for years and never feel exhausted. That's how I know I'm going to still do this in the next 30, 40 years. It's simple. It's about people. It's about serving people. It's about making sure that whatever it is that I'm out to do, I am saying it outrightly from the beginning. You know that my heart is for you. Any skill I have, I just have those skills, but then you are my priority. That's how you distinguish your brand. You want people to feel you in your products, in your conversations, in your availability, in your humility, and then in your heart as a person. So whatever it is. So maybe the first assignment I'm going to give in this place right now is, what is that brand story? What is the story? Okay. How did how did you get to 5,000 young professionals? Why? So why? How? I think that's the next slide. Why? How? Why do you think that that's what you want to do for people? Why should you be trusted? Why should people trust you for the long haul? Because the goal is whatever you are doing, literally, if you don't do it for the long haul, you might not get the reward. So when you hear all the time, consistency beats intentionality, consistency beats intentionality. Oh, I want to save 50,000 professionals in the next 6 months. I want to save, I want to help 30,000. That's very good. But what is that one thing that you are doing daily or that you can do for the longest and not get exhausted and not get gassed out? For me, this is building on LinkedIn. This is my second year, right? I'm going into my second year, and I've spoken to audience almost every week. Almost every week. I find the way to still speak literally every week. So you can calculate that already. I've done more than 120 trainings. It's in fact, it's I didn't account for a whole lot. I just had to just leave it at 120 because that's the one that I have flyers for. But then if we're going to account for the other ones that are coming from other communities, I'm probably sure that it will be more than 200. Why? Why are you doing this? So maybe that's the question we all probably should start asking ourselves. Okay, so these are my all my community vibes, like we're literally screaming about it. Okay, so this brought me here, right? You must ask yourself, this is what is called the Simon Sinek's golden circle. whatever you do whatever you do, the only way to last long, the only way to go far, is ask yourself why. And then, of course, when you ask yourself why, you need to meditate on that story, right? Meditate on possible versions of that story. Like the version of the story I shared today was not the version of the story I shared on Blossom's event. That's because of the her audience. So you must find ways to suit your story. That's why these things take time. Of course, it takes working with professionals. That's exactly what you're doing here. But you need that guidance of somebody who will consistently remind you, oh, this is the thing you're going to be doing now. This is the thing you're going to be doing now. You're supposed to produce this at this time, Tay, because this is essentially your foundation. If this is not clear, why you should be building online, okay, why you should not just have a physical outlet like what most of our people are doing. I said it again, this is the creator economy. It's going to be bad. Like if there's a word like that in the next few years, it's going to be tougher for anybody who doesn't have an online presence. In fact, I feel so lucky that I suddenly had that awakening in this season of my life, right? So, of course, for your cadre of people, there are other ways to show up online, but make sure the truth again is, for people who are saying, oh, they're just going to do online ads and all that, the truth is, because of the falsehood that would arise, that would increase. People pay for products online, and after paying, either the profile disappears or the person blocks them. Dramas like that. You can't have it because a lot of people know you. You show up every day on LinkedIn or any platform you've decided on. Of course, for the purpose of our studies today, it's actually on LinkedIn. So you're not just building. The reason why you're building on LinkedIn is not just to sell. You're also building for trust. Everybody says this no like and trust factor. Yes, it's in literal. terms, trust. Imagine that you keep showing up on a platform for 10 years. You can never be the same. For us who are medical professionals, this one particular guy in Nigeria, his name is a Proco Doctor. This guy has done posting content online for 10 years. He did his 10 years anniversary today. So you can imagine why anytime healthcare conversations come up, he is the top of the mind. Right now, he has a tech company, a tech company that's an AI, our doc, that is designed specifically to answer health challenges and problems and solve emergencies. Most times, those kind of lights cannot come to you if you're not building online, if you're not taking online more seriously than you would. So that is why it's very, very important that you consistently make sure. For me now, posting online is not just about the likes and comments and the virality. Is that, hey guys, I'm still here, know that you can still trust me. I've got ideas. I read. For me, I read every day, every blessed day. I consume materials every blessed day. So even when I'm talking the next time, some of the things that you're going to hear from me will not be outrightly what you're going to be hearing right now. And that is why it's very important to answer these three questions. So I'm adding another question, another assignment aside from your brand story. Document, come up with your why and tell it to a 1 year old, like to children, tell it to the different demographics and your target audience, depending on what you want to serve per season. Just come up with that running through your mind. Then the next thing I said again, of course, for most of you, you already have your what. So making money is not a challenge. I'm seeing you, Dr. Cynthia. Is there anything you'd want me to pay attention to? Hello, doctor. I can see you up. If you need to draw my attention on anything, you can always wave or something so that I know, because I know that we've spent quite a lot of time. Okay, so yes, this is one of my clients, beginning of this year, right? That we worked together on a project, right? More like it was even in general, it was like a cohort thing. I didn't even work with her like on a one-on-one base per se, but it was essentially a cohort thing. And then of course, when I worked with her, she said she made 2,000 times what she had invested, of course, with my community as well. So this is just me probably trying to enact the fact that okay, all my results, this is not maybe for now. So let me just get a few questions on the comment section. Let me see what some of us are having in mind so that it will help me tailor the next conversation that we're going to have on some. So please, I'm here. For most of us, we already have our niche, right? We already have our niche. We already have an exceptional service based on everything we've spoken from the beginning to now, right? Okay, then we also, like I told you, how to tell your story. Be sure that you know how to recognize all your wins. Please write as much as possible for my community people, and then for busy people that I get to meet all the time. I tell them outrightly, right? You don't have to write with your pen and paper. Trust me, all phones right now have notebooks. All phones have notebooks. It simply means this: you can easily just read into your conversations. Like, read for me. That's, in fact, yesterday I already documented something. I came up with another document as of this morning. If I'm going to write a book on that document alone, I'm not sure it's going to take me more than a week if I would want to, especially because of what's uh, literally is my life. I've lived that life, right? Okay, so I've been doctor. Doctor, please, I said if you have any interruptions or anything you'd want to at any point, please let me know.
No, please go on. I just had an interruption, but I'm back here. So please
Okay.
go on. We're good. We're good.
Okay. Okay, beautiful. So like I said again, for I say it over and over again, for most of us founders who are very busy professionals, you have to documentation should be your ally. Documentation on all forms. I have so many tools I use. Documentations on all forms, whether note in your phone, note, and guess what? Your note in your phone has It's audio activated. So if you click on your phone right now, if not because of I don't, my time is really already fast spent. I would have just taken us through a drill. If you click on your phone right now, click on the audio part of your phone, you can just record any scene you want to talk about, any inspiration you have, any ideation you have, just document it, put a date on it, document it, put a date. By the time you would want to curate a product out of it, it will just be like night and day. So like we said earlier at the beginning of these conversations, no matter what you are doing, right? Value recognition is also value documentation. So it means as much as possible, if you're into HR, like I've seen right now, you should have a material that you can exchange for email lists, for leads, for premium, for access to people's emails and phone numbers. If you're deep into Africa, pay attention to phone numbers. Then of course, if you're working with international clients, yes, the emails will do, right? And then, of course, my building on LinkedIn, the DMs will do. So please document if there's anything I'm strengthening in this niche specialization pyramid. Ensure that you have materials that you can drop at any point. As you get inspired, post about them. Now, the essence of the post is not just about posts, is that you're able to say, okay, this is where it is. You can go copy it and curate it into something fast and make sure you finish. No matter what you do, have a finished product on based on any inspiration. So I'm in HR. I've gotten jobs for 5,000 professionals. I have a community of 21,000. I have the authority to talk about HR. And if you must be a thought leader in a particular niche, you should have a product that proves it. And books are one of the easiest, right? Books are one of the easiest. So you must make sure that you have a material for exchange. Yes, that's the word. So please, if you have not started, go back to all the things that you've curated and start your journey as quick as possible. So we've all gone all around this place from the very beginning. I know this is a bit quite small, but your niche, then define your audience, find an overlap, study your market, craft your promise. We've talked about it. Don't craft your promise outside your victories. Don't promise people as though you were a newbie on it. Now, we're not saying you should present yourself as a newbie. The truth is, you're not a newbie. So, talk about your wins. If you've not gotten a win, don't promise what you don't have simply because you want to sound smart or you don't want to appear new. No, catch people. That's what I did when I showed up on LinkedIn. As regards when I realized that I needed to serve people, LinkedIners, because I've seen a whole lot of confused people, and most of these people are selling products that me I don't understand. Right? It doesn't make sense. It make people show up and they have nothing to show for it. So I decided that I've always done business, so this is a place I can feel effectively. I made sure that I brought my wins. I flip. If you think that I'm doing it because of money, you might want to think again because I'm here to serve you. So that's how you start paying attention to your promise. Make sure that your promise is just like your goals, smart. For every time you have contact with anybody that you're going to serve, right? Always name them one by one. And I would say it again, if you want to serve alongside a particular line or path. See, it's not hard, guys. It's not hard. My first ever training program, I had 600, close to 600 people uh, register for that event. Close to 600. And we had almost 200 people show up at one point in time during the live. And the live was 4 hours, and at no point, in fact, we had more people joining. So you can imagine people who would be probably thinking about, for the audience I had then, they should be thinking about their airtime or their data and all that, but they stayed with me 4 hours, and it was my first ever time serving them. So I'm saying it again, if you don't have a result, curate it. What will separate you is just research. For me, before then, I had sat down and said, what's the meaning of this? This person will come, drag people in this direction, just collect their money, drag people in this direction, collect their money. So, what will I be doing to make myself stand out? I went into a study spirit and I kept telling myself, this thing is not hard. So, I'm saying it now so that you don't sit down there and say, I've never done this before. Let me just wait. There are two extremes of people. They'll just say things like, I've never done it before. I will not even talk about what I've never done before. It's either you stay on that line, and trust me, in the next 10 years, you never done it, you will never do it before. Then there's the extreme of the other end, where people who have never done it before, but they are lying outrightly through their feet. Of course, they get embarrassed, they get disgraced. Even life sometimes disgraces them. Sometimes they don't go above that stream. But me, I dare you. I dare you. My own is different. I dare you that if you want to build in any particular direction, all you need to do is to sit down and say, what do I need in this particular direction? I curate it for myself. I flip it. So that's what I did. I showed up. I kept flipping it for people for 6 months, flipping it for people for 6 months. So, in fact, I didn't even think it was something that people should pay me for initially. And that's why for me now, I'm very dangerous when it comes to telling people, okay, um, girl, you think this is worth it, you should put the money on it, because that's the only way you get serious. So we're talking about these 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. Except you commit your money, you will just joke at the end of 3 years. And guess what? It will be like this. I mean, it was just yesterday we're in lockdown and we didn't know what was going to happen in the future. But look at us now. This is literally 5 years after. So any move you don't make. So that's why for me, I always see these three pillars of people. Most people who cannot, who keep saying they can't do it. Then the other pillar of people who lie outrightly with no result and get caught up, or the people who stand up and say, what is this? What is this that I can't do? Who are the people that I need in my life to produce these kinds of results? And they go for it. And for me, I'm for the third sets of people, because the truth is, except you start painting those pictures consistently, you won't produce the results. So we can talk about seven figures, except you put in the action requisite for that result. You keep talking about, you keep hearing other people talk about it, and you have nothing to show for it. So that is why that we are, of course, that is why Doctor has organize this event, so that to wake all of us up, right? This is our goal. This is what we want. She has already even put a timeline to it. And so we must make literally every day count if we're going to get that result. So I said this again, craft your promise. And it was while explaining the promise that I went into, saying, don't sit back there and say you've never done it before. Get up. You just need 3 days. You just need one day. For me, in fact, my event, I curated it on a Friday. I know that there are other people's events when they want to curate event, they are just buzzing all over the place. I created it on Friday. On Sunday was execution. So it means that we had just 2 days to execute. So put yourself on a diet, knowledge diet, action diet. If you need to have those results that you're looking for, you need to see. There were days that I was awake. I mean, when I started out on LinkedIn, these results that I had twins, toddling twins, 5 months each. 5 months each. They were all around me. I was writing exams as a master student because, of course, if I said I was going to face internet, I needed to also be moving in my career. So I started out my masters like right there, right now. My GP is almost 5, and I did LinkedIn, daily LinkedIn communities training every day, even with that, and I still got that kind of GPA. Of course, my plan was to have a perfect like 5, irrespective of what I do. It's simple, it's a mindset, and of course, I'm a believer. Me and talking in class, in fact, I think I was just seeing somebody during one of our exams in masters, right? Some people who came and sat down beside me, they were now saying, madam, your hand is just moving very fast. Please just talk to us. Please tell us what to do. I told them, I said, I'm so sorry, I don't communicate during hall. So I now told them that after, let's leave this hall first, I'll talk to them. So when we got out of the hall, and I told them, why were you trying to get answers from me in the hall? She said, you have to help. I saw the way your hand was fast. I said, let me tell you, I have two twins. I opened my phone. In fact, I had just dropped my children and I ran to write exams. My kids were alone with, I think, my husband, that we were having a like a clash because there was this, I didn't have anybody to watch at my kids. right? So my husband was between the hospital. He'll come around, he'll just hang around. So I just ran out with breasts, my brow tugged with breasts and all that. And I was just quickly trying to scribble. And everybody was saying, I now told them, yes. So if you want to use an excuse, I'm just saying it now for some of you. If you want to say that, okay, because you're a nursing mother and you're doing other things, you have businesses, you can't push in a particular direction, you might just want to think that again, because the mind is very plastic. We have science, we have medical doctors here. The mind is very plastic. It means that whatever you tell it to do, with all sincerity, I know for me, when I interface with humans, I know empathy like I know my back. Of course, that's why I did what I do. But for the people in my inner circle, I still tell them, if you pet your body, if you pet yourself, you won't see the results that you're looking for. If you pet your money, you won't see the result that you're looking for. Okay, so after you're done crafting your promise, swing into action. If you sell your product in the direction of your, if you tried, tested it, and it didn't work out, see, it's not for you to abandon it. Come back again, study. Hey God, I enjoy research. I enjoy research all the time. If I do something, it doesn't work, I'll go back again. I will just be going back and forth. And I'm always smiling because the truth is that man is wired to take people for granted. Man is wired. Most people, when they meet you, they'll just think that they've gotten all of you. So the next time they will either be behaving somehow. Maybe you find it. For me, I've realized it a lot, even in the internet space. You can give your life for people. I'm just preparing all of you who are founders and leaders. You can even give your life to certain people. Once they see greener pasture, they will just disappear. So, and then in their mind, they think that they have gotten all of you. That is your own renewal. For me, that is the spirit of the phoenix, right? Your ability to always refresh yourself. So when somebody is doing somehow, you just know that, madam, you've not even learned half of the things that I would have spoken about, or half of the trainings I could give you. So I said it again, don't give up on whatever ideation you have. All you have to do is run it through your coaches, run it through your community, test your audience, come back again, refine it again, refine it again, refine it again. I will tell you the truth that most people don't even say out loud, right? What sells a product is you and your story. Those two things. Most people will not talk about it. I have so many people who have bought my coaching projects because it is me. Okay, they saw Vivian, they like Vivian. Oh, she's pretty, she's very kind, she's hot, she has authority, dramatic, she's dramatic, she's blah blah blah. Summary, they are buying it because of me, right? And then the only way they can buy it because of me is when I consistently refine my stories. And that's why I told you guys, going back to the golden circle, no matter what you do, right? Please pay attention to these things. For some of us who eventually go on to work with, um, of course, NGOs and all that, you need to document those things. If you need to do videos telling your story, hey, you better do it, because, like I said, we're in the creator economy, we're in the attention economy. So it means most people will stop to hear your story more than they will stop if you want to sell anything to them. Okay, awesome. So let me see. At any point, you can stop me, because I have a master class, like, of all conversations I could have. But yes, for me, every time I get the opportunity to teach my students, I get them to reevaluate what they are serving along the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. For people into medicine who did community medicine at some point, they would have seen this, right? For people into psychology, they would have seen this as well, right? Um, Maslow is a psychologist, right? In the early, I think the early 90s, who studied the human, that's human as a person. For me, I believe that understanding your target audience go beyond just saying, this is what I feel like I want to sell. Let me just get them and squeeze them inside it. No. Most times it will always start with you understanding what kind of needs you're going to meet. So all these things are in my book. If you need it, you're going to have it. For the scope of this class, I might not want to stretch that, but just know that look for yourself in the pyramid and understand the conversations of your needs. Sometimes, if you are not getting customers or you're not meeting results as you should have, trust me, this is probably where you missed it out. You must find ways to make sure that your products are responding to all these tiers all these tears. Okay, so let me give you an example. I'll quickly meet psychological needs. For me, right, the basic survival requirements of people, food, shelter, that's in the end is money. If you have money, you meet these needs. Sometimes, let me see if I can find the particular need. Okay, so food, shelter, healthcare, all those ones are the physiological that the body needs. So it means that your niche is very important. These are the things you need to know alongside. This will also help you when you're writing maybe for a project or you're asking for funding. It's always very important to know the importance of what you're doing. This is me talking psychologically, right? But you must also build your product to meet these tiers. Every time you're building a product, for me, monetization, yes, baseline of her is physiological needs. So some people might just need to flip some little money or get a job opportunity. Yes, that's monetization, but it's low hanging fruits. So people can move up the tiers by going straight to feeling secure. Some people secure can be class. Okay, I have this. I mean, that's what iPhone does. Okay, let me just use iPhone now. iPhone has produced their product in such a way that no matter any brand, any other brand that you have side by side, right, with iPhone, you still feel like if you don't have iPhone, you might be missing out on something. And that's part of his brand story. They are selling class, they are selling prestige, or they are selling. I've forgotten his tagline now. I don't know if somebody can remind me, but there was something he said which is part of his brand story. So every company, every product should have something that you use for your community. So for that person who has built 21,000 professionals, I'm sure that there's no way that large volume of people could have trusted you, right, to gather to you. There's something that you're telling them that is making them to belong. This is me going to the third tier. You must have taglines, right? You as a person, a brand name always does something to most people. So for me, most people call me Mother Ego. Some people also call me Ginger. That's because these are my personalities. And for me, for my company, I called it the Phoenix because that's actually what I do. I flip people. I believe that anybody who comes in my gate, right, rises from the ashes. Like they skip in quantums. So that's what I have in mind. But then, of course, I said again, you must move along the pyramid. Make sure that you're giving people love and belonging. So for the person who already has 21,000, I'm sure you have a tagline. I'm sure you have community activities. I'm sure that you have program. I'm sure you have meetings. Maybe sometimes you move it to the physical and all that. Then the esteems, of course, I'm sure you reward people by now. I'm sure there are annual events where you celebrate people who have come with you so far. I'm sure you have flyers celebrating your community members, those who have supported you so far, right? Then I'm sure that you have started the last step, which is self actualization. You're also able to raise people like you. You can see that as we move up, that is how money goes up. Like your you charge for your services. The more you create price tiers. I wish I could explain this further, but like I said, it's in all the book. We broke it down. For each of the tiers, we did brand expression so that you will know what your brand is supposed to be doing per time. You should know some of the activities. So you're not wondering why are people doing this. This girl, any small thing she wants to do event, any small shit. Now you know because you're trying to make sure that you're putting yourself top of the mind. You're also reminding people that you care about them. You don't just have events because you want to have events. You have them in mind. That is why you want to remind them of who they are. You want to remind them that they can actualize this. So, like I said, at the peak, for people who are into the coaching industry, this is how your money literally goes up from maybe the general tier. These cohort trainings are usually for physiological needs. You answer as many people's problems, but as you build your brand, you're building along to the pinnacle of it. The pinnacle of it, of course, is self-actualization, where you now start raising people like you. And those ones, of course, as you go up, money goes up. Whatever you charge keeps going up. Okay, so I think I saw when doctor was teaching us about the pillars, right? Content pillars on LinkedIn and all that. But there is also authority pillars. Authority pillars means things that you have had results on. right? There are certain things, especially if you're starting out on LinkedIn. Well, I'm going to be a bit biased. I was just say what I practice, right? Most times, for you to be top of the mind for a particular niche, you might have to sound like a broken record. So for those days, some days you wake up and your goal should not necessarily be that you're viral. The goal is that when I talk, everybody knows. When it comes to monetization, leave it to Dr. V. Magnus. So when it comes to healthcare, this HR, leave it to this person. So sometimes you might sound like a broken record, but you need to have a frequency. For me, when I started out, it's every day. Oh. But of course, now with working with Dr. Cynthia, and then of course, and then most people who train us in cohorts, they warn us because if you want to force an ideation down through people's throats, they might leave you. So the people that you're even trying to help will be running away from you. That's why we said you should have like your content pillars and you should mix them here and there. Some days, in fact, one thing I know is that LinkedIn has a theme. So it means that some days, like Mondays, you find out that the body language of LinkedIn is a motivation. Tuesday, you can do anything, maybe mainstream. Wednesday, you can do woman crush. That's what they do on Wednesdays on LinkedIn. You can decide to celebrate your community. So you can see that in the pyramid, we've been able to cover that. So Wednesday, so when you see people posting people and they are tagging them and they are putting them on flyers, don't be saying what are these people doing. And if you notice, their engagements improve as well because they are not blindly chasing opportunities. They are also paying attention to the people they are serving. So you can do women crush day, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday you can do a deep niche thing, especially if you're starting out, because you want people to know that this is who you are, this is what you do, you're an authority. Because the truth is, being an authority, even with your 2 likes and comments, you can be invited to stages if the people whom you're speaking to find you. And then on Friday, most times people do thank God it's Friday, they celebrate, they do da. So Saturdays are for socialization. Sunday, if you're a spiritual person, talk about your journey with God and all that, or you can take a break depending on how your week has been. So, like I said, establish an authority pillar, right? A particular topic. For me, when I showed up, like everybody knows, you guys know that I'm a medical doctor, but I don't push it out because I don't want to confuse my audience. That is LinkedIn. LinkedIn always likes to, when they think about you, right? They want to attach you to something. Upwork does the same. But if you are building on also other social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, okay, no, YouTube also wants you, just like LinkedIn, they want you to be talking about one thing, right? But other places like what's the word, other places like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, they want you to build, they want to love on you. They just want to get to meet you. So no matter what you do, find a way to put your personality. So for these other platforms I've mentioned, you are the niche. But for LinkedIn, you have to stay one place, right? You have to stay one place. So for me, my Instagram, I do a whole lot of things. My TikTok, I do a whole lot of things. I do medicine there. Like I'm currently partnering with my husband on our company for our healthcare company. So time to time we'll do programs on sexual health. He's a urologist, so that's a low hanging fruit for me. I'm a public speaker, public health practitioner, then into business. So our sweet spot was sexual health. Okay, since he's a specialist in it, it's something we can easily just discuss, and I don't have to feel like it's totally off. And we talk about it every day because we discuss clinic matters and all that. So you can see how to find this sweet spot into what you do. But for LinkedIn, you have to stay one place, right? Even the algorithm will fight you if you're all over the place. So for the LinkedIn monetization strategies, knowing fully well that most of the people we have here are CEOs, right? These are the things you must tailor, right? Pay attention to high ticket clients. I've told you guys how to manage our low tickets, but you must make sure that you already have a pre-planned tiered offers. Okay, say it again. Your entry point, define what it is. If you don't understand, don't worry, you get the book. So you read all that. I explained it in details. You must have an entry point. Then you must have um different offers, whether low ticket offers. Low ticket is for maybe people who are not essentially ready to pay all that you might be requesting for. Okay, those people might not be essentially ready to pay what you're requesting for. Then the next tier of people will be would you normally charge if you're going to have a one-on-one consulting and coaching and all that. Then the next thing is, do you have a B2B version of what you are doing? That means helping other companies achieve what you're achieving. So for you who has done 5,000 um, hiring or putting people into jobs, if you meet other HR companies or agencies, you can partner with them and deliver services for them. So sometimes they get, like for me, the last time I had a project I worked on, it's simple, right? I just did what I normally did for my community for them, and they paid me in multiple six figures in less than, well, I can't say 3 weeks because we had plannings, but the execution was in a week. So, but we had plannings, trainings that we did back and forth, but it was in a week. So I worked for a B2B. So I did it for them. So whatever your offer is, just think beyond just serving some one or two audience. Find the B2B version of whatever you're doing. Those ones, those are your highest possible tickets. Sometimes you can charge them for people who are international, $10,000, $15,000. You can charge them as high as, because they already know the excellence you're providing on board. That's what they do. It'll be easier for them to pay you what you're requiring. Then I said speaking engagements. If you're a professional here, your speaking is your life. I will just say it again. Of course, we know that the worlds were framed by the word of God. So if whatever you are doing as a professional, you are not speaking consistently, you are not sitting down to meditate on that. Of course, like I said, it's a channel. Research, meditation, out of the abundance of the heart, right? The mouth speaks. So if you're not studying enough, if you're not meditating enough for your niche, now I'm not even getting spiritual about it. For your niche, you need to have study times for your niche so that you're able to put it out effectively. So speaking engagements bill times 100, right? I can even, let me just say, times 10x your your income. In fact, most times you can even get opportunities to speak, especially for healthcare professionals. We are literally sought after. In fact, the last time I spoke, or maybe I will not even say the last time, the first ever time I spoke, I was paid six figures. And in fact, the person was thinking that they were doing me a favor. They thought that they were doing me a favor. They were saying, please, can you collect this? I said, hey, 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 if you knew that this was my first time officially speaking, you would not even, in fact, if I told them it was my first time, probably they would just tell me, okay. But me, comportment, I said it again. Once you stay with all that you've done, just like, David and then tearing the lion and the bear, Goliath might not be the lion and the bear, but he taught something. So that's what I told myself. I normally would serve in church. Normally, I'm normally an excellent person. I read, even if I've never had an opportunity to speak to anyone about healthcare. Come on, it's not that bad. And that's what I did. I locked in, came up with research questions, and it's still excellence. Other people probably will charge more, and they will not even think about it. So I came up with research questions, went super early to the event center. It was, in fact, a five-star workplace. In fact, for me, is like the federal secretariat of my country, my entire country. That was my first ever outing. And what I did, came in early, shared the forms, all the possible questions that I know that would give me an idea of the kind of people that they were. Immediately I shared it, I collated. When I collated it, oh God, I was just laughing because of some of the answer. So if I was talking to them like this, suddenly I was looking down to talk to them, not in a negative way. Is that I'm already armed with enough information to be able to distill excellence. And that was when I started. I'm saying this now so that nobody will say that, oh, the reason why I cannot do this so is because this is my first time. There's nothing like that in our dictionary. Please, there's nothing like that in our dictionary. We get ready and we do it, right? We get ready and we do it. We reevaluate ourselves. We do it over and over again. That's just what we do. When opportunities come and we can serve because we have the lion and the bear, we get ready and we do it again. So, um, like I said again, always when you're going for opportunities like that, always have your product. For me now, I think I have a speaking engagement that I'll be speaking to an entire school's um an entire school students on on LinkedIn, like an entire school. So I'm looking at on an average, maybe if not up to 2,000 students, 3,000 students. You can't go there and you don't have materials to exchange. Yes, you can't go there and you don't have materials to exchange. Even if they are students, yes, you can make it low ticket. You can bring down the price just because of them. You can do a promo, but you must make sure that you have an exchange aside from whatever anyone will be paying you at that point. Okay, so like I said, career for me, I always build for my career. That's why I didn't say, oh, because I'm doing business and I'm making all the figures, then I will throw my career. Nope. I still am, of course, like I said, I'll soon be done with my masters, and that means career wise, and then other opportunities. There are certain things I'm looking at, but then the truth is, the energy I will bring to that table is the energy of my personal wins, and I don't have to be put in a box. Like I said, this is a creator economy generation, so it means that if you are thinking that it has to be white collar, or you're also thinking that your system has to depend on white collar, you might want to think that again, because there's so much loss with that. So like I said again, brand partnership and position and collaborations. I also got a brand partnership for my community. I think it was um close to June, nearly June. Okay, so if you came in earlier, you notice that my platform was blue. I had hosted an event for them, yes, and they pay you. The monies will just come in bulk. It's not dispatched. The money comes in bulk and it makes sense, right? And it's just like a side money. It's not even about what you do. That's why it's very important that you build um a very solid brand, so that you can have solid conversations and do excellently well as well. Okay, so I think let me just stop here because I have lots to discuss. In fact, this is the one that I would have wanted us to talk about, but because of the time we have, let me just stop here so that I can hand over to Dr. Cynthia. If there is, of course, another opportunity for us to see when you all have joined into the main cohort, at least within the 3 years, time to time, I would come around and see what I could do for us. Yes, she has my number, so we can always reach out to one another and form something in any workshop. Yes. So if you want to get my book, you can always reach out to me. Thank you so much. I'm handing over the mic.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is like so amazing. You just exploded. You just exploded. And I'm so happy that you've said so much. Even in the other cohort, we didn't get this, but you've been able to touch a bit of more that we can learn from. And I'm just loving this and telling myself, oh my God, this woman is loaded. Like, I can listen to you for 4 hours, 6 hours, and I would want to be here. So what I'll do is, I just want you to write the questions. Let's take time. I think for the next like 20 minutes, let's just be able to write the questions, ask as much as possible so that we can just utilize her, because documentation. And I kept just nodding and smiling because you are just bringing in the actual experience that I have been talking about. Documentation is everything. A few days ago, on LinkedIn, I just came and posted. I posted what I've done, part of what I've done, and those are the flyers. And when you say that money should bring in money, so what I did was I just posted the flyers. And you have no idea how many people were able to DM me and say, can we do something? I saw you speaking to the youths. Can we speak to the youths? I saw you speaking to the women. Can we speak to the women? Because what did I do? All I did was to show evidence. That's the brand story, because people are going to reach out to you when you tell them that this is what I've done in the past. Now, let me say this. I wanted to say this. Doc, I'm just taking this time as they are writing questions. Please ask. When you have an opportunity to have a mentor like her come, it's not every time that you're going to get her. So you need to make sure that you ask the questions. But I want to tell you that for our summit next year in Dubai, she's one of the speakers. I already told her to say, Doc, you have to leave October. She is going to be a speaker and she'll be talking about monetization. So I'm excited. The moment I just heard her speak, I said, she is the one who's coming to talk about monetization. So as you are putting the questions there, I wanted to say that, documentation is everything. Document anything you do. And I always tell you, because we have a journey together. I've been telling you that everything that I do, you should be able to see it. So if you've noticed, what I do constantly is document. You will see me have a mini MBA, I'll document. You see me have anything. And the other day I was just telling you to say, but for you to gather some documents, you can even go and speak to a school, go and speak to a church. And that's where documentation starts. So you have done so many things, Maxine. I was looking at those numbers and I'm like, what? 21,000? Have you documented it? Have you posted it on LinkedIn so that people know that you can do that? And you see, we get trapped in a job because we think that what we have done is not much. So listen, when you go for a job, when you're working, when I was working, I used to document everything. And that's what I say now. I say I have managed up to 67 million. I'm talking about the money that I manage. That is documentation. I've worked for all these NGOs. I tell you, 14 years. I've worked with all the NGOs. I'm a grants expert. Documentation. If you go and read my about section, I've been able to put even what I call a failure CV. And I'm proud. I say, why should you trust me? Because I told you the other day to say your about section is your story, it's your proof. I go and tell you, you should trust me. Because when I say no to this, I have failed before. So, what have you written in your about section? And I loved the fact, Doc, when you talked about, the vulnerability part. People will actually align, they'll cling to you when they know. She understands. So be out there, and show the other part, your story. Talk about where you failed, talk about where you cried, talk about how you picked up. That becomes a brand story. Today, okay, let's see. Do we have some? I can only see, of course, the messages are a bit slow, but I think we have something. You started your business 2 years ago. What was the beginning like? Take us through the first month. Okay, maybe Doc, you can take up that.
Hello, can everyone
Let's
hear
get
me now?
that.
I think I muted myself. Yes, I think I'm good. Okay, so yes, like I said, I've always been a momentum person. My beginnings are always big. I always have a very great beginning. Always. So what I normally do. So like I said, I'm not that's because there are certain principles. If you came in quite early, which I think you were, right? I said some of the principles that always gives me a very good start. I've never had a weak start generally. It's simple. Maybe if I had a weak start, it would be when I was a child or something. I know the place of community, right? Partnership. If I like when I showed up on LinkedIn for the first time, I didn't walk around alone. This is what you're doing now. You went to Cynthia and held hands. You might need to demand more. Let's say you're in her community and every other person is not so bothered. For me, I always know how to go for what I want. I raise people, I go for the best. In fact, most times, most of the people I work with, I don't even bother so much with, in quotes, the big names of people who, some people will just be doing some funny things. I don't know how they do it, but me, for me, I know that anybody can be used. So I always find energy around people. So I don't go alone. So I can't remember anytime I started anything and had a weak start in it, right? So I'm just saying it now. The reason why I'm saying it now is that if you're probably just showing up on LinkedIn for the first time, don't be hanging around like you want to see how it goes. Don't do that with your soul. Don't do let's see how it goes with your soul. That's the reason for many breakups. In fact, trust me, maybe the guy you eventually married is not the one that told you let's see how it goes. Very few people get married to let's see how it goes. In fact, me, I ran away from couple a lot of them because I just didn't even want to hear this. I think it's the wiring in my soul, sharp personal. Anyway, because I think God wires people some way. But then I would also say again is that when you find people like that, you just attach yourself to them, and then you what do you call it? Just lit the fire. So for me, from day one, I had an amazing start. I described it as well. I said we hosted and I opened up, what will I say it now? I created an event on Friday. By Sunday, we already had 600 people. We had about 200 people coming at once listening to us. So for me, it was day one. I started from like the day I showed up. It's like maybe I showed up, attended some trainings, which is what you're doing now. I think I joined one person's training, but when I entered the training, I was just asking myself, so is this what people will be discussing here? Because because of the way I learn, I was just telling myself, how can somebody gather people like this, and this is what you're gonna be teaching? So I was so angry. So it's not in a negative way, and trust me, oh, when they were just doing all those discussions in the comment section, people were just shouting value, value, and I'm like, okay, when I enter like this, so obviously it meant that there was a way I learned things that I was not seeing it. So I now told myself, no, if all of us we keep saying value, 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 and people are not doing the work, then we'll all be in the same place. So for me, I didn't even have a reach then as much. In fact, most times on viral, okay, I never curated posts for virality. I'm going to be sincere, that was me. It's now that I'm learning all these crops, because of course now everybody knows you. You have to show workings, right, in the fact that people trust you. Okay, so at this point I would have said maybe I wished I would have met a Dr. Cynthia way earlier, but for me then, I don't even used to bother. All I it's my events. My events, most times I have had 300 people in the room, 200 people in the room, different people like from all over the world, UK, US, everyone. So I had my results as I was starting. Had my results as I was starting. And that's because generally I'm a momentum person. Yeah. So community partnership and go for what you want. Paint a vision early. That's what's for me. What normally happens to me. I normally would have decided on this path, and then I just see make the sacrifice and let your money work for you. So your beginning, especially with her as a help, and you hearing some of the things you heard tonight, is going to be very easy for you to scale. The only challenge you'll be having now will be a momentum. For me, I easily have results. In fact, there's literally no place I have put my hand that I don't have results. Even for medicine, I've had a record of attending to 80 people in a day. So I just have results everywhere. So I can flip it at any point, but you just need to start. And then of course with the people you have here, you'll be able to attend to anything you want. How best do you package your? Okay, let me click on the second one. I hope I answered your
Okay.
question, Max. Max, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting. So, Bridget,
Yes.
I'm not going any questions because you need to tap in what Doc is good at. So Doc is a specialist in monetizing the algorithm. Falling in love with the algorithm, I'll take that, and I've taught it so much. So let's focus on our energy. So I'll take this. How best do you package your products? What is the fastest way to produce one ebook, course, or hard copy? How best do you package your products? What is the fastest way to produce one ebook, course, or hard copy? Doc.
Like I said, the fastest way is to have a theme for your soul. A theme for your soul. That's what I call it. I tell my community people, don't don't walk around with nothing in your mind or your heart that you're meditating on per day. In fact, hours. I do that a lot. That's even part of the reason why I'm not free for most of the time. I might not be doing anything extra like jumping around. For me, with my friends, as in fact, most of my friends, I don't connect with them as often. But in my soul, I just keep telling myself, Jesus, I'm in a particular season. Let me just get automated. I just want to be automated. And that's, I get my research, everything in that direction. I find easy ways to do everything, right? And it's just so that when I eventually take my hands off, I can easily produce without thinking. Like some of the conversations I held today were conversations of my mind, my soul. That was how I was able to write my book. Is that you don't just wake up and say, I want to write. about any book, which is what people do, and they force themselves. It's okay if you're a writer. Sometimes you might have to discipline yourself, but if you're consistently somebody who meditates on thoughts, who interacts with answers as much as possible, interact with answers, interact with community of people who are winning. In the um other times, people find people who are winning and they get jealous. But if you're smart, if you find people who are winning, if you need to pay yourself into their circle, hang around them, find out what they are doing. When they drop something, ask yourself questions around it. Sometimes your books will be answers, and that's how fast it goes. Like for me, I'm writing a major book for women next year. So I've been asking myself questions, because if it's a monetization, I'll flip like 10 books before tomorrow. Flip. And that's because the theme of my soul is money. Like, it's money. In fact, and the truth is, I tell my people anytime they see me post about money, they think is the money that they are talking about. I'm sure from all the conversations we held today, you guys can see that money cannot just flow without a system, and all those systems are wired in empathy and love. In fact, the summary of money is love, right? But most people will just write money and they assume that they know. That's why you won't burn out, because you're not looking at results alone. So for whatever book you want to write, you need to get your soul confident, and then will the book respond to what you represent? Okay. For me, that book, I want to use it for something, WHO, UN something, and SDG something. So the reason why I want to write it now is because I want to be unbiased. Generally, I've never really been an overtly feminine person. So now this season, I literally research. I just want to be able to think like a woman, so that when I'm writing, I don't sound like a man. Okay, even though I'm a woman, but I know that there are some of my wirings are not probably normal to my gender, but then I have to think like they do. That is the main process. So if the fastest way to have a product, an ebook, or a course, is to write about what you represent, write about what you have taught your community over and over again, write about what you love doing, and you're good to go. So for me, every day is my writing. My soul, meditation is the first part of writing, right? So you have to out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speak, then documentation takes place. So what I would just do is, if I want to write another book, how I flipped 7 figures in 1 week, that one now, you have even told me, I probably, it's just that I have a lot of things to do for my community. If not, I would have told you by next week. I would just be I would just be advertising the book, and everybody be like, hey, 7 figures in 1 week, let's go there. That's all. But those are my realities. I'm not faking it. It's something I've lived. So the easiest way is to um write about your wins, write about what you are. But if before now you've not generally your mind is everywhere, just culture your mind. You can take out time to culture your mind and stay on one arrowhead, like for maybe a month. Just be reading every time you see a topic. Just follow it to everywhere. Follow it to Reddit. Follow it to HubSpot. Follow it to LinkedIn. Anytime. In fact, go and search. Put on your search bar, right? Articles on this topic. Just be following it everywhere you go. Before you know it, you will be sleeping and you suddenly meditate. But then, of course, lead with a pain point, lead with a story, and your product is ready. And for me, like I said, what you can do is turn on your microphones when you're thinking and you're meditating. Turn on your mic on your phone and speak into it. Your notebook translates your voice. If you don't have a notebook that translates your voice, you can download audio to text. You could even use ChatGPT. It's just that I think after certain use, they might tell you you've exhausted for the day. That's if you're not registered. But you can speak into it and tell it not to touch your words. The only thing it should correct is typos. In fact, even now, you see, these ones are my personal research. Even editors, I'm just sky with AI, and I spend most of my time with that. With AI now, there are lots of jobs that will be out of the way. It's unfortunate, but you sit down, type into speak into ChatGPT every day, and you speak, you just say chapter one. So today I want to be talking about my story of when you're done. But that's after you've researched all pain points. So as you're curating your story, because most times if you're somebody who generally doesn't share your story often, when you see pain points, you just be talking off points. I think it was my community people. They will say, "I was struck. I was all those ChatGPT words." Everybody will know that you're not a serious person. Okay. Anyway, some people will not even know. It's only me that will know, maybe. But you say, "I was struck. I was petrified. I was afraid." You know, all those vague emotions that don't have, like, that you really cannot hold on them. That is where the problem is. But when you meditate and you speak from your own story, so rather than saying things like "I was struck," you could say things like, For literally 4 days I couldn't sleep." And it's true, that's what happened to you. Or, "The person who I trained carted away with my money." That's true. But are you stuck? Yes. Are you frustrated? Yes. But you should give emotion, storytelling reading. There's something called the storytelling arc, and I think it's in the book as well, so that you're able to tell your story. You have a rhythm to your story. Somebody is hearing good, then something can come deter. Anyway, I said it. I literally didn't watch movies for most of my life, like most of my secondary school, no, most of my universities, no, because of medical school. But recently, storytelling is my new rave. So you can see how my face is shining as I'm talking about it. But then it's the simplest thing you can do. Please, you can even write. My community people, I've put people under pressure to write a book in 3 days. So if you're not producing results, just know it's on you. I'm just trying to say, in quotes, but I'm not putting you under any pressure. But I've shown you ways. You just need to culture your mind first off. Put your mind on a diet. All right. Gives your soul a theme to discuss. And see, how you even know it is when you jump on live calls like this, when you record videos. For me, I don't play with videos. Oh. No matter how I'm growing on LinkedIn, I still take out time to record videos. Either I do live events. Live events are my soul wire because it tastes my meditation. So between that event that we had and now, you can ask her most of the things I talked about. I didn't even talk about it there. It's just that I have had so many things that my soul interacted with, even between then and now. So you need to give yourself an opportunity to give out. That's why some people think, I'm giving them free training every time. No, no, no. It's not true. You're not. You're the one at who is gaining. For me, the main reason why I would even charge is so that you don't think that, oh, I organize a training, then you decide when to come in. No, I don't like that. That's why I charge. But if not, if I have to train you, if I have to show up right now, I'm doing myself more favor than I'm even doing Cynthia. So because I can write something else. In fact, as I spoke, a light bulb turned up in my brain. So we talked about this, how I made 6 figures in 1 week. I can write it as a book and I'll sell it. It's my story, it's my life, and people want results. And then if I probably didn't come here, I probably wouldn't have even thought about it. So that's why you need to serve, find ways to serve. The more you serve, you're flipping those ideas in your heart. Right. So some of you might not make those money immediately, but the more you serve, you're finding out ways to test your audience, to test your language, test your conversations. And that is how, in fact, writing book for me, I can write. I say if I want to try myself, I can have that book out by next week. That's just the truth. And for why I'm saying this is because I want authenticity. But if it's AI, you can write your book in 5 minutes, in 2 minutes, a full book with cover, everything. If it's with AI, I can also do that, right? I can tell you steps on how to do that, but it's a shameful place to be. To be sincere, to be sincere, that you have material. In fact, some people have downloaded their free products and I cringe. I cringe. And some of them I never take them seriously ever again. And it's not like it's bad though, but it's unfair that you just take something from the internet and just give it to people and then you didn't parse it through your soul or come up with something. Actually, yikes. So I'm still saying it. You can do, in fact, many things are spoiled too. I don't know. I don't even want to tell you people, but sometimes when I lie down on my bed and I'm looking up, I'm like, Jesus, this AI, the disruption has not started. I think we still have a chance as Africans, for those who are Africans in Africa. You still have one more chance before that peak, that main topple. And if you're not putting yourself under pressure now, sincerely, I don't know how it will look. The only people who will probably survive it are all those manual guys, plumbers, carpenters, and all those dramatic um niches. Because music everywhere. In fact, everybody just taking the jab, but they don't know yet. Anyway, I love AI. It's even on my bio. I'm an AI enthusiast, so I'm researching every day. I even have a course that is live now. I'm supposed to finish soon. Okay, so let me hand over.
Oh my God, I am. How many people don't do you see the energy? And I've come to believe in energy right now. How many people can feel that we have the same energy? When I went in that class and I just heard her speak the first few words, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Doc, are you still speaking? Your mic is
Mm,
mute. Are you still speaking? Oh, okay, great.
mm,
Okay. It's because I'm losing it. Yeah, so I just wanted to say, I want to see how many people, can feel that we have the same energies, because when I went in that class, I listened to her for like 2 minutes and I was speaking in tongues. I was like, who's this one with my energy? So I wanted to say something as she was speaking. I literally can feel her energy, and she's so much like me in many ways. Now, let me tell you, when I was in that class, when she was speaking, and I was writing things beyond what she was saying, because my mind was literally opening up. So, you have to be expressive. One of the things that I also want to say, Doc, and I want to say to everybody is, this is how, a lot of people have been asking me during this class to say, so how do you choose to what you write? Okay. So, of course, when you are starting your journey, I said, I'm going to come up with a content calendar just to help you. But do you know that as you meditate, your mind becomes very creative. So, for example, this year for me, first of all, I want to tell you how the 36 retirement months came up. So, when God wants to build you to a level that is big, He would take away that comfortability. So, for me, I told you I had built 4 companies, right? And then I think I was very comfortable. I came to a place where I didn't even come to LinkedIn because I was comfortable. People would just call me. I had an investment and lending company. So, people would call me. I didn't need to have leads. I didn't see the need for LinkedIn. But guess what happened? God took away the lending company that was my number one. I became very comfortable with it. The monies were coming in. We came, but that company failed from nowhere. I tried everything that I could, but it just failed. And it was painful because I had put in 5 years of creating that brand, of being known. I was on TV, I was traveling everywhere because I was known as this money woman, wrote a book, Wealth Mindset. Everybody knew me. Okay. So now, when I was at the peak of it, and I could literally hear God to say, you have to move. But then we become comfortable in a place. We always feel like I've made it. But God, you know, there's no limit to what God can do. And so, me, I'm very analytical and I ask questions about everything. So, God had to literally force me into the next level. And how it happened is that it had to be painful. So, it was really painful. It was really disappointing. And then God tells me, go to LinkedIn. I've told you this story. Like, it was not me coming to LinkedIn because I was very passive about LinkedIn. The only time I went to LinkedIn was when UN was giving me an award. So when they wanted an award, the first thing they asked me, I think the first time they gave me an award in 2023, they were like, are you on LinkedIn? Because they wanted to do that. They wanted to see what I do professionally, but I was on Facebook. Luckily for me, I was professional on Facebook, but that was not my platform. Facebook is very good for products. And I was good on TikTok. And like she said, you have to understand different platforms, because on TikTok, what I post is totally different from LinkedIn. Everybody knows me as an Inuka guru, but you never see me post about Inuka on LinkedIn because I understand each platform. Okay. So when God takes that away, He was literally moving me into the next phase of what He wanted to build. And so you need to pay attention to your soul. That's why if you are a woman and you actually don't meditate, you are depriving yourself of your creativity. I've told you about the right brain, the right side of your brain and the left side of your brain. And I've told you that AI is the left side of your brain. The right side of your brain cannot be taken away. You have super intelligence that AI cannot come up with. That's why for me, I trust myself more than AI. AI amplifies me. But what I do is every time that I am seated there, I'm thinking of the new thing. Yesterday, my neighbor was calling me at 01, and I was like, okay, what has come? And apparently, every time the wife is giving birth, I am the one that comes in. So he called me yesterday and said, neighbor, we have an emergency. My wife is about to give birth. So he comes in and gives me a baby, a 5-year baby. Now I don't know if I've told you this. I'm not a kids person. I don't like kids. I have one daughter who's 13, and even that daughter has been brought up my husband more. So it's not just my strength, with kids. So when he left me with a kid, I was panicking. I'm not a person that takes care of kids all the time. But I was trying to be, is she okay? Like in my mind, I was like, is she okay? I wanted her to be comfortable. I handed her the phone. After some minutes, I'm like, do you want to watch this cartoon? Which cartoon do you watch? Then she was dozing. I put her to bed. I put a blanket on her. I took the blanket. I wanted to know, like I literally panicked. But then in my head, I was relating it. And that's why when you've got clarity, Doc, these people know me about clarity. I tell them about clarity all the time. And literally, my brain was like, went to personal branding. I said, as I built a personal brand, what about if the way I am caring about this child is the way I cared about my brand? And I said, do I ask myself analytical questions? And I wrote, immediately I went to my notepad. I've told you people about anything that comes to mind. I went to my notepad and wrote, I think you see it. Maybe tomorrow I'll post it. And I started asking, I said, as I was in that state, God was speaking to me. If you were taking care of your brand like that, if you asked yourself critical questions, if you analyzed, if you evaluated, where would you be? So, when you're talking about what to write on LinkedIn, it's in your day to day stories. The other day when I told you about a man that I was online with, all he wanted to do was collaborate with me and interview me because he said he's been watching me online and he was intrigued and wanted to just speak to me. And when I was telling him of my story, he said, you know what, he had retired, he stays in Cape Town. And he said, Cynthia, I am coming out of my retirement and I want to build a 9-figure brand, because me, I talk about 8-figure brands. So that man says, I am coming out and I'm going to write a story about how I was retired, and after speaking to you, I'm coming to build that brand. And immediately I went to write because I analyzed. So you should not be, we are in a creative economy. I wrote that doc and I was already thinking of how I'm going to write that. Creative economy, okay? And attention economy, meaning that you cannot be hidden. I'm also answering someone who said, is it better to do the virtual or the physical one? Right now, we are talking about being seen online. Doc, today somebody posted something that I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about this. There's a woman called is it the Olivian or whatever, whatever, whatever. I'm told she's got 11,000 followers on Facebook because she shows her life. She's literally naked on Facebook. She's showing her life and she's making money. 11,000 followers. She went into labor. I think she was supposed to go into labor, and so being online is about being yourself. Gone are the days when we are scared of our village people. Okay, so if you've been there hiding, you're not talking about where you are, you're not talking about anything, it won't save you. And like I told you, as long as you show up on LinkedIn, you are in top 1%. Because 99% of the people from the 1.3 billion, 99% of the people are watching, they're scrolling, they want to learn from you. This means that you've got an opportunity, already a billionaire. Maybe we are talking about 3 years of your retirement. Come on. You can even do it in 6 months if you put your mind to it. Doc has just amplified it. I was seated here and I'm already thinking of something else that we can do because we have the same minds. I always tell people that for me, when I see a problem, I'm already seeing income. So having a mind like this is just a plus. And also, there's something that I wanted to say. When she says everything that she goes to, she made the first event she had 600. And she made the first business, she made this, is it six figure? This is what I do. When I met her and I contacted her, I didn't go to her begging. She'll tell you, I didn't go to her begging, because for me, there's no, it shouldn't be no for an answer. I said, Doc, by fire, by force, you are coming to speak to my people. Okay? That's what I said to her. I hope you are taking notes. The other thing that you can learn from everything that she said, I want to cement it, because these are two minds, powerful minds, that are giving you the solutions. This year, when I got to LinkedIn, when I came to LinkedIn, I didn't go to be an amateur. And within a week, Doc, within a week of coming to LinkedIn, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what it is LinkedIn is all about. I made a post, and that post is the highest up to now. It's now over 200,000 impressions. It went viral. Up to now, I don't understand why it went viral, but it went viral because I went there to win. Then what did I do when I went to LinkedIn? I didn't go as an amateur because I knew that I've been winning. I was not just showing online. So what I did was, this year, I invested all my energy, all my time, all my money in learning what others know. So what did I do? Money makes more money. Everywhere I heard somebody has an event talking about personal branding, I went there. Whether young, whether old, I went there. I went for one-on-one consultation. I heard Lala Acosta is speaking. I was there. I stumbled across Yashmin Ali. He's the number one LinkedIn. I went there. And because of the energy, I told myself, oh, he's the number one. I said, he's going to comment on my post. Yashmin commented on my post. He's the one that connected with me. I didn't connect with him. He's the one that DM'd me first. I didn't DM me first. Why? Because I did not come to be the second best. I came to be the best on LinkedIn. And when I tell you about everything that I'm achieving now, people tell me, how did you achieve this? When you look at my DM, I have showed you in that class, it is full of whites, of everywhere people can, because when I came, the theme of your soul, I came to win. And even, when you talk, when you meditate, when you interact with your soul, you even feel when the time has shifted. When I came in January, I think by March or February, I was having a class which attracted 200 people, and it was free. So most of the people, how I carried them over was, from those 200 people that now people started believing in what I do. When I started with everybody that is here, these are people that have interacted with me. What did I do? Come for the mini MBA. You're not paying, you're only paying for the certificate. Psychologically, I was telling you, you guys don't know me, but I want you to hear. When you trust me, when I said the next payment is $100, what did you do? You jumped on the $100. And I've already told you that the next payment you're going to make is what? 500, 1,000. You still jump on it. So what am I doing? Ecosystem. I'm building trust. I'm building, if you can do this, then you hear the other version of me. And I loved it when Doc said, you haven't even heard the vision, because today I heard totally different things. When you've seen me on the mini MBA, what did I do? I taught you totally different things. Cohort 1, cohort 2. So whatever you see it, carry it and create your own vision. I'm not telling you to be like me or to be like Doc, because we are all unique. But all you do is take who I am, take who Doc is, and go and replicate yourself. Because you can, and you're not an amateur. You are greatness. I've always told you, stop holding on to what has failed. Forget about an economy where, oh, I have to hide this. There's nothing like that. Go all in, all out. I've been talking about how my business failed on LinkedIn. I talk about it. This is the person that people know as a money person is that you come to Zambia, everybody talks about Cynthia money, Cynthia money, Cynthia money. So go and replicate yourself. Okay. I don't know if we have another question, but I think I've answered the question I saw from Bridget. All right, oh my God, we've gone over. Okay, this has just been amazing. I know we are enjoying ourselves. That's why we're here. But maybe we could end here. So what I'll do is I've said a lot as well, and I know Doc, from what I've said, maybe you could just be able to give us your last point, your emphasis. Thank you so much for coming here. You are a blessing. Thank you for obeying God. And I know that this journey is just starting for me and you and the ladies. These ladies are amazing. Okay, there's one point before you come in that I wanted to emphasize, because God kept, reminding me about this. So, first of all, when you talk about clarity, you have to also understand that we are called differently. So I'll give you an example of myself. For me, I'm not called for the low tickets. So every time that I do a low ticket, it doesn't actualize. I'm called for CEOs. I'm called for professionals. When I advertise a $1,000 course, people will come. When I advertise a $10 course, people won't come. So you also need to understand. And Doc, I just love you for saying the meditation, because in the meditation is where you discover yourself, and you will hear voices. Like for me, I hear God when I'm bathing the water. Even if I go to the sea, I'll hear God. So you need to identify where you hear God. When you hear this voice, that's the Holy Spirit. Do it. That's what I do. The moment God just told me in that class, I just went, that class, the moment she came in, I was distracted. My mind was done. I came to just know her. This year, there are times where I've gone into a class, I didn't learn anything. Like in that class, it was meant to meet her. So you need to pay attention. You need to have conversations with your mind, with your soul. Be clear. Avoid the noise. There's so much noise in this world. And as long as you are staying in the noise, you will not understand yourself. So you are here. You are professionals. You have a trade. Look at the results that you have. I was telling Doc, because she came to say these are the people I'm dealing with. There's a book that she's given us. We are all buying. I'm not even going to apologize. I'm going to force you. It's $10, right? It's $10. So we are all going to buy, because you have to put in. For those that have not bought my book, The Wealth Mindset, you need it, because it tells you about clarity. Now she's giving you a book about monetization. You need it. So for some of you, for the next 1 year, all you have to do is invest in yourself. Maxine, I can see her future. From the time she came in my life, she's not left me. Every week we have one-on-one coaching. She's putting in herself, she's putting in myself. And when you start seeing the results, it's because she's invested in herself. So the book for Doc, we are buying. I'm buying this night. We are all buying. The Wealth Mindset, if you haven't gotten it, you have to buy it. The other people that I'm going to be bringing here, there's another great gift that I'm going to bring. One of my mentors that I haven't told you about, he lives in the UK, but he's Nigerian. I think I'm Nigerian. I don't know what's me with Nigerian. I just think I have Nigerian blood. So there's a mentor of mine who lives in the UK. Is amazing. He will flip you upside down, and he's written a book you will buy. Why do you have to buy these books? You need to take in more. You need to take in more. Have a study time. Every day I am studying something new. For me to put in what I put in is because I am studying. Today I was supposed to have a class. Every class I am learning, so that I put into you. Doc, I know I can go on talking, but please give us your last remarks. Emphasize anything that God is telling you. Do it. Give it to us in the next 8 minutes, and we'll be gone.
Beautiful. Like I said, thank you so much for the opportunity. Then I wanted to respond to Maxim. Maxim said, true. The distraction and noise keeps one from still meditating. Okay, from still meditation. Okay, from the still meditation is needed. Okay, I think there's a typo there, but for me, I meditate even in the noise. Once you've had a theme for your soul, you can meditate anywhere. Like I said, um I read with my twins. In fact, I had videos. In fact, one of these days I'll post it. I read with my babies shouting, crying on me. Right. Sometimes I will separate myself. So sometimes, of course, there is a place for environmental. That's why we're talking about structure. But you can, for me, irrespective of what I'm doing in the day, I'm deep in my thoughts. In fact, my husband is one of the main hits. Sometimes he'll be talking to me, I'm already gone. Then I will beg him. If when I notice that he always wants to talk to me when he comes back, I used to beg him, please. Right now at this phase, I'm not so focused. If you still think that you just want to tell me, just go ahead and speak. But I'm not essentially here. Oh. So most of the times we'll have conversations and like we're saying, Sugar, you've told me this. My husband will say, yes, I've told you. You don't remember what I said, Sugar, you know, at least I begged you at one point. Of course, I am team drop your phone and all that. But if you meet me at the peak of my meditation, even my friends, even when I go out to eat, when my mind is trying to connect two dots, I zoom off straight. There's no gist that we're interested in. So I'm just trying to say it now so that you can also start working on your mind so that you don't put yourself in a place where you what's the word? Don't put yourself in a place where you what's the word now? You feel disadvantaged at any season. Even when my children are crying over my ears, over my head, I still meditate. I still do some of the things. The only thing I try to do is, if they are crying so much, I carry them, hold them very close, because I know, of course, we are all in psychology, right? You know the place of physical touch. You might not have some of those conversations, but if you hold them, peck them, they'll be like, oh. In fact, my children use "I love you" words so frequently than I'm beginning to wonder, because I rarely use those words like that, but because they can feel it, they can literally say it all the time to me. So that's what I thought to tell you. Then everyone, implementation is always what will separate all of us, right? Showing up, showing up. If you show up from now and then till March and you disappear, it's the same thing. I think it was Jesus at one point that said it. He said, if you put your hand to the plow and you look back, it's better you didn't even do it. But God forbid, right? We're not the ones that look back or there's a word he used, expedition or something like that. Give up onto expedition. There's a word he used in the NKJV. So it's just simple, right? I've just made up my mind that this is what I want to do with my life. And in this season of my life, I'm going to have all the results. I'm going to document it. I will use it, even if I decide to do other things. But I will be consistent enough to stay at it until I have my results. I lost her. So I'd want to say thank you very much, everyone, for hosting me. Okay, but I don't know. I can't see her now. I think network, either my network or her network, one of the two. I don't know if we have any other thing else to say, but I'm so honored to be here. I'm so grateful. Okay, I think she's not yet back. Let me try contacting her. See, maybe she doesn't know she logged off. Mm. Thank you so much. Okay. You're here. You're not backstage. I can't see you in the studio. Dr. Cynthia, you're not in the studio. Thank you so much. Um, okay, so do I end the call? Yes, thank you, because I can see you here, but I can't see you inside. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Bridget, as well. I appreciate you all. So I'm in the group, so we can actually just anybody who would want to leave a conversation can open up a conversation with me. Yes, I think that's basically it. So, Dr. Cynthia, just let me know if I can end the live now, and then I'll do that. Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Do have an amazing night, morning, or afternoon, depending on where you listened from. So, bye. See you. And I'm ending the live in 4, 3, 2,